Yeah, well, I'll kind of say the same thing I've said the last few weeks. You know, I'm privileged and honored to be here and working for this organization. Everything that I have and we have, it's an important we, is focused on and what we need to do this week, which is, a big game against Kansas City. Humbled, honored to have some opportunities. Ultimate goal is to become a head coach one day, but that's not on the agenda right now for me. It's doing everything I can do to help our team be the best they can be this week. And that's what it's always been. That's what it'll always be. Appreciate the question, but really, really focused on what we need to do this week. Great challenge for us against this team. Very, very good football team. And we're going to have to do a lot of work to get ready to play this week and have a good week of practice. And all eyes are on the Kansas City Chiefs. Nothing more. But I appreciate the question.
And I appreciate the answer, Brian, and I respect it. To move on to football in Kansas City, how far has this offense come since those struggles, the season low yards in that game against the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think our goal is to try to improve every week more. And, each week is a different week. There might be, 20 passes in a row, 20 runs in a row. Our goal is to go out there and try to score points. Whatever the conditions are, the conditions will be this week. It'll be a challenging place to play. I know they have a great fan base there. They have some really, really great players there too that are opportunistic players that we're going to have to do a good job with. That's where we're going to keep it.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, War. Appreciate you.
Hey, Brian, Thad Brown, just to confirm, the reports that you are not interested in either of the last two jobs, you are not confirming them at this point. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it on the Kansas City Chiefs right now, just like I have for the last few weeks. And that's where our focus is going to be is on the team we're playing. These opportunities don't come around playing in these A.F.C. championship games all too often. You got to put everything you got into it, stay focused, dialed in, and that's certainly what I'm going to do.
We talk to you about distraction and staying focused, and every week you come out here and have the same answer and seem to handle it pretty easily. Are we overrating the idea that this is the distraction that you as an adult can't keep multiple things going at the same time and still give all the emphasis you need on this game?
Yeah. I mean, look, I've been fortunate to be in this league for 20 years. This is the 9th A.F.C. championship I've been in. I don't take them for granted. They're hard to get to. They're hard to compete in. If you're not focused on what you need to be focused on, I don't really think you're a professional then. This is hard to get to. Hard for the players, hard for the coaches, hard for the organization, hard for the families of the players and the coaches. You put a lot into this to get to this point. It's a great honor to be playing in this game. It's a hard thing to do. So every waking minute you're spending right now is on preparation for this game. There's 4 teams left playing, 4 of the best teams in the league, and you better put everything you have into it.
Gotcha. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, Adam Benini.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Brian. John kind of touched on it with his second question there. I'll come at you a little bit of a different way. How much of a template, obviously the output wasn't where you wanted it to be back in week 6 against this team. How much of a template is that game as you prepare for this one from kind of an X's and O's game plan standpoint?
Yeah, it's the second time we play them, so it's almost like it's when you play your division games, play the Patriots twice, you play the Jets twice, and the Dolphins twice, and you look at stuff that you did in the first game and you evaluate that. You say, boy, I wish I would have not done that, or we could have done this better. It's a point of reference you can go back to, particularly, the matchups and things like that, and seeing how their guys play against your guys. And but it's just one step of the preparation process.
How much have you guys evolved offensively since that game, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think we try to evolve each week. But, our goal is to try to do what we need to do to win that game. Where we're at now, we're still, it's 4:30 right now. We've been grinding pretty good here this morning and got a long way to go. So, you hope that you improve throughout the season. I think we have. We're going to have to play a really good football game this week on the road against the best team in the A.F.C.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, Heather Prusak here. Good to see you.
Hi, Heather.
From your initial, film studies looking at them, obviously, when you talk about the weapons they have, everyone goes to Patrick Mahomes and their offense, but they've got some big playmakers on defense. Just what have you seen from their defense as you look at them?
Yeah, they're their problem. Coach Spags does a great job of deploying them. They run a lot of different schemes, coverages. Jones is an issue. Clark's an issue. Honey Badger, you never know. The play he made yesterday, like Baker looked one way, he kind of came up as a guy, he stepped in front of him. He's always been a dynamic player, a blitzer, a cover player. They got long corners that can run and play man-to-man, and they mix in zone. They pressure a lot. There's a lot to prepare for this team, and that's where we need to be at.
And after the game, Josh said something to the effect of like watching guys on TV, and what's been said about them is that no one was really giving you guys a chance against the Ravens. How much does this team, in your opinion, thrive in that underdog role?
I don't know. They're competitors. Our guys are competitors. They put a lot into it. I'm not sure. We try just to stay focused here in the building of what we need to do. There's a lot of opinions out there about a lot of different things. And, the best thing we can do is go out there, have a good week of practice, preparation, and, go out there and play well on Sunday when the game kicks off. It's a challenging game. It's a challenging team wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, it's Sal. Good to see you.
Hey, Sal.
Josh didn't have like gaudy statistical numbers, but it seemed like, at least my observation, but that he was in control the whole game. He was calm. He was making right decisions. I know you've talked about how much you trust him and things like that, but I'd like you to just kind of speak on that where, it's, even though he doesn't have a game that wows you or anything like that, it seems like he was in control of that whole game and doing the right things.
Yeah, he was. And that's what his job is. And he knows that. And look, there's ebbs and flows to every game, but whether it was some conditions, which, we weren't afraid to throw the ball. I think we did it, I don't know how many times in a row, but, and that's because of him too. We have a lot of confidence in him. Our whole football team does. So he played the way he needed to play to help us win the game. And this made, every game's a little bit different, Sal. You never know how it's going to shake out this week. But, he's a guy we lean on heavily. We got all the faith and trust in the world.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, Therese Paler from Yahoo Sports here. How you doing?
Good, bud. How are you?
Great, man. Hey, congrats on making the A.F.C. championship game.
Thank you.
Something I'm working on. Both Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have really been unbelievable against the blitz. And a big part of that, obviously, is how talented they are. But like you said, you've been in the league 20 years, right? So I guess my question to you is there anything about the way the game is played now that helps quarterbacks rip it up like this? Because it felt like back in the day, maybe the blitz worked across the board a little more than it does now. And I have a quick follow-up.
Yeah, no, the blitz is everybody's got to be dialed in when there's pressure. It starts up front with the communication process, and sometimes there's tight ends involved or backs involved, and then the receivers are involved with hots and sights. I mean, athletic quarterbacks, can sometimes evade a rusher and get out of the pocket. It's certainly something we practice a bunch here. We practiced it pretty much every day last week on every play. So both those guys are extremely talented, and you bring one extra guy, there's one less back guy to cover too, unless they drop a different guy out. So finding where you need to go ball with the ball, understanding your offensive scheme, and I think those guys do it well.
Gotcha. Consequently, when you see that a team isn't coming after you, right? Is there an art to simply taking what the defense gives you as a play caller and as a quarterback? Because it's such an aggressive league. I'm sure you just kind of want to pump it down there. But is there an art to being patient?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that depends on, what are they playing on the back end? If they're only rushing 4, are they playing, split safety zone coverage where they're dropping everybody? Are they playing man-to-man coverage? Are they playing tight post safety man where they're matching guys or they're dropping guys? I think a lot of that goes into play as to how they're doing it. And then the quarterback seeing it properly and distributing it to the right guys based on, what he's seeing. not an easy position to play. There's a lot of different things that can happen, but, we try to simplify it for him and let him go out there and make quick decisions, play fast. And, he's done that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
So, how you feeling?
Been better, but been worse. So I'll take it. But wanted to ask about Dion. He got a lot of love on TV on Saturday night for the job he was able to do against Baltimore's edge rushers. I'm curious what he means to this offense as obviously the franchise left tackle, as a captain, just what you've seen from him since you got to Buffalo.
Yeah, he's grown a lot, Sel, since I've been here, on the field and off the field. He's a good leader for us. He's an athletic player on the edge that, he needs to, his job is to keep the width of the pocket there and get movement in the running game. And he's improved every year since he's been here. I think his intangibles have improved, his confidence, his ability, his craft. It's a testament first to Dion for putting in all the work. And then it's a testament to Bobby Johnson and Hef and Wendy for, being there for him and help guide him and teach him and be good coaches for him. Glad we have
you. Appreciate it.
You got it. Hope you feel better.
Hey, Brian, it's Diana from ESPN.
Hey, Diana, how are you?
Good. Congratulations on making your 9th A.F.C. championship game.
Thanks.
How much do you think you have to focus on the run game here to control this game against the Chiefs? How much are you focused on that?
We just finished that part of it right now. We're working in different offices and Zooming, but we just got that done. I think it'll be an important part for us. Again, last week was one thing. You watch Baltimore play Tennessee and Derrick Henry and what they did. So it's you're not going to try to bang your head against the wall too much in that regard. Kansas City is good at both of them. We're going to have to be good at both of them. You never know which one you're going to need. The main deal is we're going to have to try to score points, whether that's a 40-second drive or an 8-minute drive. That's what we're going to need to do.
Whenever I talk to people in the league about you and your work ethic, the word they always use is you're a bit of a maniac with detail. How would you describe how your preparation is this week heading into this game? Why do you think so many people acknowledge that obsessiveness that you have?
I don't know. I think it's how I grew up and who I learned from, starting with my grandparents. But, there's a lot of guys in this league that work really hard and put a lot of effort into it. We got a lot of guys on staff. That's our job as coaches, is to try to, figure out the best things we can do to help our players. And that's what we're always going to try to do. It's certainly, what I've tried to do my entire career. We got a bunch of guys like that on our staff. And, with all the stuff that Spags does, there'll be some late nights here.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you.
Hey, Brian, it's Jay with the Buffalo News.
Hey, Jay.
What's going on, man? I think going back to around the bye week when Cody got hurt, Mitch came back in for you guys and you sort of settled on Ike. You had a lot of different combinations up front up until that point, but it's been very consistent now moving forward. Have you noticed a difference in the line's play given that consistency, since you talk a lot about how you would like to have it and you didn't early in the season?
I think that's, that was trending in the right direction. You have some consistency. We have confidence in all the guys. They all are going to have to play one way or the other. But, when you have those 5 guys playing game in and game out, I'm sure that, their communication and the little things that they, sometimes you don't have to say anything and you kind of know when you're playing next to each other for a while. It's been good to have that consistency for us. But the most important thing they know, and we all know, is they better play well. That's the most important thing, So they'll have their work cut out for them this week. We will.
In regards to Mitch specifically, he left the game with an injury. You guys made a lineup decision there, but he has come back. What have you noticed about his performance since coming back? And obviously he's going to a place that he's awfully familiar with after starting his career there.
Yeah, he's been consistent for us, Jay. He's a great pro. He's what you look for. He brings his lunch pail to work. He's a good communicator. He leads by example. He's a great person. He has great character. Really focused. Glad we have him.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
Hi, Brian. Matt Fairburn here.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I know you get asked quite a bit about, being from here and what it means, but I'm curious, when you go into a game like this and, you get to this point, AFC Championship game, who do you think about? When you're thinking about, the idea that there's a lot of fans that haven't seen this in a long time, but who do you think about when you think about what this means?
The players and the coaches here that are put, you put a lot into it. You go into each season with high hopes, and it's a long season. It's a grinded out season. And again, it's hard to get to this point. So the appreciation that you have for the players and the coaches and the administrators, the GM and the scouts, really everybody in the building, it's hard. They put a lot of work into it. And the people that take care of our trash, to the trainers, it's important to everybody. Then, when you step outside this building and you go get some coffee or something at Tim Hortons, or you stop at a local place, the fan base here is second to none. And I've talked about that before. Everybody knows that. This is a special place for me. It's a special place for my family. Privileged to be working here in your hometown. And but again, the guys that are out there on the field that come to practice, that are banged up, that are bruised up, Matt, that lay it on the line every week, those are the guys that you're happy for.
I know you're not preparing to play against Andy Reid's offense, but as somebody who's aware of trends around the league, what do you think has allowed Andy to evolve and have so much success in two different eras of football?
Yeah, Coach Reid, I know him just through mutual people. I wouldn't say just have had such an admiration for him of, he's an aggressive play caller. He trusts his players. He goes after it, man. He goes at them. I think there's a great example in the last play of the game for the kneel downs and what he does. Has a tremendous amount. It seems to me he's got a tremendous amount of confidence in the people on his, that are out there playing for him on the offensive side of the ball, that they're going to go ahead and make a play. He's got a lot of good schemes. He's been very successful, wherever he's been. Philadelphia to Kansas City to Green Bay back when he was coaching Favre and those guys. He just, pretty cool to watch some of his tape. He does a lot of cool things, and I just think the confidence that you have in your players goes a long way for them to be confident. He goes after it. Yep.
Coach Daboll, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing this afternoon?
Good, Mook. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just paying attention to the detail, and I see that you fixed the blind right there, man. I see you fixed the blind behind you. It's not crooked there. That's wonderful.
Yeah. My wife was on me about that.
Detail, just always in detail, right, Coach? Yeah. Speaking of that, you won 15 out of 18 games. Now that's a lot of points and that's a lot of plays, man. To punch that ticket to the Super Bowl, Coach, how do you downsize 18 weeks of plays for this championship game?
I think you just put one foot in front of the other for this week. That's what we've done throughout the season. I think the minute you start looking too far up is the minute you lose your step. Just focus on the step that you need to take for this week, which is, be a good Wednesday when we come in here. We'll do the same things that we normally do. That's our process, and that all stems from Sean and what he's built here. And we're going to, follow his lead and stay with the process and go out there and install like we normally do and practice like we normally do. And, keep it consistent. I think that's what you need to do this time of year.
Absolutely, Coach. Love your loyalty. Good luck this week.
Appreciate you, Mook.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach. George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing today?
Good, George. How are you?
Pretty good. Just wondering, with the weather getting bad and talk about temperatures in the low 20s this coming Sunday in Kansas City, is there what's the possibility of the Bills establishing a running game this coming week? Do you think that might be an integral part of this type of season when you get down to this championship game?
Well, I think, yeah, and we're going to do what we think we need to do to win. Whether it's run it or pass it, look, confidence in the guy, number 17, throwing the ball, coming from where he came from and his abilities. So, try to do both of them well. How that sorts itself out and how the game's going, or the direction we want to take it, that'll all be played out here. Got a long way to go before we get to that day, but we always try to do what we think we need to do to win that game.
Mm-hmm. And also weather may play a part where you might not be able to throw the ball as effectively going in one direction during the game. That will also possibly play into it. Yeah, I think you always are aware of that when you're getting ready to play a team, of how the wind blows in the stadium, and you go back and you do your research of times you've played there. And if that's the case, then you make adjustments, but got a quarterback can cut it through there pretty good. It was pretty windy here the other night. Ball sailed a couple times when it was, we put it up over the top, but I have a lot of confidence in Josh's ability to throw the football in any condition. All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Hey, Brian. Dante Lasting. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, Dante. How are you?
Good. How have you seen Stefon Diggs grow into a leader of this team throughout the season?
I could go on and on about him. Really, since he's got here, the way he goes out and practices, his competitive nature, his desire to be great, his desire to want the ball, the way he communicates with his teammates, the support he shows. He's been an awesome addition for us. Been a very valuable piece for our offense. I'd say for our team. He's just a great dude. He's all day tough, all day competitive. Wants the ball in crunch time, and produces when his number's called.
Definitely. And how important to this team is that there are selfless players on it?
I think it's really important. It's the greatest team sport you can play. Doing the right thing for the team when everything's not right for you is not always the easiest thing. It's something that we stress, and I think something that our guys have bought into. They're happy for one another when each other make plays. Bees that didn't have a catch last game, and he's about as happy as can be in the locker room. And that's hard to find. I think you have to cultivate that. You have to bring in the right type of guys, and then you have to communicate with those guys and let them know how important they are to team success. It's not all about stats. It's you trying to get a win. And you have to buy into that. So I think the culture that Sean's created has been really good. You need a bunch of selfless players on a team. It's hard to win when you got a bunch of selfish ones.
Absolutely. Well, congrats on making it to the A.F.C. Championship game, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Dante. Appreciate you.
Hey, Coach. Rob Motti in Philly with the AP.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
Good to see
you. I know
you
are focused on the Chiefs. I absolutely appreciate that, respect that, and understand that. But you also said that
Thank you.
In the future, you would like to be a head coach. So as opportunities come along, how do you evaluate and determine which ones are the right fit for you? How important is scheme, culture in the city, in the town, in the organization? How do you determine that?
Well, I think you sit down with the people that are going to interview you, then you decide it. So, look, it's a great honor to be mentioned in those things. I'm just, again, and I hope I appreciate the question. I really do. Everything has got to be dialed in at this time of the year for what we're doing. And if, opportunities come, they come. And then you take a look at them. But right now, we got the biggest game of most of our careers get ready for. So I certainly do. I really do appreciate the question. It's a humbling experience, and we'll see where it goes.